the bow stance, walking. I want to sit down into the hip crease. I bring my hands and just rest them on the hip bones. My stance is about body width. I'm going to open up the hips, both hips externally rotating. It's very important to keep the same height and not rise up at any point during the walk. Shift the weight, and now the hips are going to internally rotate to bring the feet parallel. My upper body should stay turned slightly to the front. So this should be a very slight twist in the upper body. Eyes looking forward, the feet and the hips parallel and turned out. Now I open the hips again, externally rotate, and I want to return to that body width stance, or at least close to it. Shift the weight. The front toes are going to come down as the weight comes to 50%. And then as I continue to shift my weight 70% forward, the hips are going to turn toward the front. That back foot is going to pivot on the heel. Important that the pivots are all on the heel. That helps keep the weight down and the stance strong. So I don't let the heel slip back and pivot on the toes. Sitting back, the front toes lift. Keep the front knee bent. Keep that leg a little bit engaged. Shift the weight forward. Again, the hips are going to externally rotate. They're going to turn out. Make sure that I'm not twisting that back knee. And initially, that whole foot's going to stay flat as the weight starts to come forward. Big external rotation and turn out in both hips. Now as I continue to shift the weight forward, that back foot will come up. The hips are internally rotating. I'm still looking a little bit to the front. Step out. You can see if I bring that foot back, the stance is still approximately body width. This will be a little bit different for each person, but I don't want one foot right in front of the other. And the way I get that width is, again, opening up the hips. Shift the weight, front toes come down. As I continue to shift the weight past 50-50, the back foot pivots on the heel. I don't want to feel like I'm twisting that leg separately, but that the weight shift does it for me. So as the body passes 50-50 weighting, back foot pivots on the heel, and the hips turn towards the front. Belt buckle turning towards the front to square the hips up to the line of the front foot. Always feel that strong arch. Keep the tailbone gently tucked under. And as I said before, keep the body at that one height. I'll turn so we can see the movement and profile. And feet are parallel. Upper body's already turning to the new direction. Step out. And if we want to just shift the weight in place a few times, I want to try to feel like the body's on a track, moving straight forward and straight back, not swaying from side to side. So I want to avoid kicking my hip out to the side. Keep my hip right over my heel as I shift the weight back and forth. Now I'm going to take the next step. And again, shifting the weight, trying to feel like I'm moving as straight forward and backward as possible. Really relax the back, and as I shift the weight forward and the hips square, try to let this area feel relaxed and full. Keep the breath sinking down to the lower abdomen. The breath can even help to relax the lower back. If I want to turn, I can do it from the front or back foot. Either way, that front foot's going to pivot towards the back leg side, 90 degrees. Step the other foot in, turning the upper body, create that twist, and I can take the next step. And in each of these steps, I can put the foot down in the transition position, lightly touching the ball of the foot. The foot that comes up and is light, the toes are going to be back a few inches from the other foot. Or I can just hang the foot there in space. and take the next step. So I can touch or not touch, depending on what feels comfortable and stable.